Hey, how you doing today? My name is Relyea, and thank you so much for stopping by. Today is a special day. Today, Rusty, the Superforge, has he proposed a special idea, and we're going to be running part 2 on this. And so, Rusty, say hello.
Hello.
So if you guys don't know, if you know me and my channel, you know Rusty the Superforge. He's the one who's doing like top 10 videos and messing around with, like, you are so good with your delivery on videos. It blows my mind. Like, you talk so fast and eloquently that I'm just like, I'm not like that at all. I literally never make a script. That's
the benefits of like being an attention deficit dude. Is like just like a lot of the things running through your head at like 1,700 miles an hour, and that gets your creative outlet going, you know. And half the time it kind of surprises me listening back to my own stuff.
I'm thoroughly
I'm just like
surprised.
Yeah,
like
even then I'm just like, did I do that at some point?
Yeah, I'm yeah, like I said, for the content you make is absolutely amazing. We'll make sure to link that down below. But for today, this is actually your idea, and as you can see, we have a tier list here, and
yes.
it's kind of like a game show. Basically, I don't know about show, but whatever. Anyway, I will pick a boss and put this on the tier list, and then Rusty is then gonna have to decide, why is this boss an S tier, and then maybe it's like a really good boss, and maybe Rusty tells me to explain why is this boss a D tier. And so we will have S tier through D tier. There is no E or F. And away we shall go. And one caveat from the last time, we are going to run this at a 2-minute pace. So we have 2 minutes to make our argument as to why each boss is in the tier that it is, so we can kind of keep the flow going. So
yes, we both have our stopwatches ready. You can already see we've kind of had some fun with this. MMC and Flugmarm being S tier, and other things like NKG and like Sisters of Battle. We've had some fun. With
it was good.
Sure.
It was
definitely the definitely the weirdest tier list I've ever created.
Yeah,
and it's about to get weirder, I guess.
Definitely, I think we're gonna have some fun. So the last time I picked the first boss for you, so I think it's only fitting for you to pick the first boss for me.
Oh, so fitting. I'm gonna give you a winner too. Let's see if I can really pick the cream of the crop here. I want to come out just like we did with the first episode, just come out swinging as best we can.
Okay.
And let's go Pure Vessel. Not D tier, not S tier, but a lowly C tier. Perfectly average, run-of-the-mill Pure Vessel. Ooh. What is so average? What is so perfectly normal about this fight?
So Pure Vessel is one of those ones that it's the exact amount of difficulty that you expect it to be. It's right where it should be, because you got to think about the placement of the boss and when you fight the boss. You don't see this boss until you fought every other boss in the game. This is coming out at the 4th Pantheon, at the end of it, no less. This is where you get you should probably have your last percentage completion of the game, and therefore it's not something that's supposed to be a walk in the park. This isn't supposed to be your easy Flugmarm or Moss Charger. This isn't supposed to be the time where you catch your breath and you get it. This boss is the difficulty that it's supposed to be, and it's really not overly hard for where it is. I know that sounds like kind of a stretch. It is doing double damage and it will throw you off, but that's what it's supposed to do. That's where it is. You're not going in there under leveled ever. Like you're not going in there with no upgrades or whatever. So once you do learn the boss fight, which you can do over and over and over again in the Hall of Gods once you've reached him once, which you already know that's what's going to happen, that by the time you get to let's say Sly, you already know, okay, you lost once, and that's how you practice. You know what's coming, and the fight is so fair that you can read everything that's going to happen. That is just kind of, was it really all that hard once you learn it? I don't think so. I think he's a perfectly average boss for a late game boss. Like that's what he's supposed to be. He's not overly difficult once you learn what he's supposed to be doing. So, that one was, I'm not gonna lie,
I'm gonna have to ask, Pure Vessel, do you actually believe the things that you said there?
That's how I was feeling the whole time.
A perfectly average fight. Yes.
Yeah.
There's the timer.
I can't explain it.
C for can't explain.
C for can't explain it.
It's against the rules. That's the timer.
Well, the timer.
Obey the timer.
Yep. Okay,
the timer knows all.
All right,
so
that's
all
how
you
want
bud.
to play. That's how you want to play. I'm gonna go the same direction you went, and let's go Radiance as the C tier. Not absolute Radiance
as the C tier.
Radiance.
Not absolute Radiance. Just Radiance.
Yeah. All right, and timer go.
Starting the timer now. Okay. Well, obviously the Radiance, the title itself, it's not the absolute Radiance. Like it's definitely a much more powerful boss than, just a vanilla Radiance. And I think that makes Radiance the perfect spot to be in the C tier, because the absolute Radiance, it suggests that there's something that obviously comes above the Radiance. And for that matter, is like there's this whole, it's like how many other characters in the Hollow Knight verse that we don't even see, that aren't even mentioned, that aren't even given screen time, could hold a candle to the Radiance and possibly argued as more powerful. I think the Radiance is a perfect C boss for the same reason that Pure Vessel is a C boss. You've definitely been around the block a couple times. This is the end game. Even if you're doing the true ending, this is the end game boss fight. You're expected to know a lot about the game. By this point, it's not supposed to be, it's obviously difficult, it's definitely supposed to be a challenge, but is the Radiance that much of a challenge? Not so. It's definitely on the perfectly average side, especially once you get into the Pantheons, because then you start fighting bosses like Absolute Radiance, and you start fighting these really interesting, some of these really interesting characters like Sisters of Battle, and like you have these boss fights that you've never even heard of, and it starts to make Radiance look like a little bit of a pansy,
and that's then, why it's above those ones. Okay.
Exactly. You go fight Absolute Radiance, and you fight things like Sisters of Battle and just all the other gods of the Pantheon. And then you go back to the Radiance, and then you're like, you know what? I understand why this is a C boss. I understand completely why the Radiance is in the spot that it is, because there are certainly characters in Hollow Knight that are more powerful, and there are certainly characters that are below it. Perfectly average, perfectly normal, Radiance, C tier, all the way.
Boom. Nailed it. Okay, so C for clearly not that bad.
Clutch.
C for clutch.
C for clutch. C for exactly 2 minutes.
That was impressive. I'm not even gonna lie.
I didn't believe anything I said.
Oh man.
Oh my God, the Radiance. What a boss.
What a boss. What a piece of boss.
What a piece of boss. You know what else is a piece of boss?
Uh-oh.
Soul Warrior.
Okay.
Arguably even a boss.
Definitely a boss.
Let's put Soul Warrior in the B tier.
Ooh.
You better believe it.
Better believe it. All right, well, let's start the timer. So the Soul Warrior is obviously one of those bosses who's guarding something that is one of the essential spells that you're going to be using throughout the game, and it's one of those ones where it's almost, dare I say, difficult just to get to that. I don't know if difficult's the right word. Maybe that's why it's B. It's not too hard to get to because you just need that key, so you just kind of have to like figure it out a little bit, and hopefully you've got the key before you get there, because I'm pretty sure that's a key that you just get from Sly. Anyway, this boss is essentially a souped up version of some of the other characters that you see in the game, and it's just kind of suited for where he is and what you're doing and everything that's going on.
You got it. Hey, you're convincing me.
Oh man, I'm trying to convince myself.
That's the true battle.
Oh my gosh, like there's B tier. This boss is better than the Radiance because of you actually get something out of it, and you're getting that the souped up oh man, what do you call it, I don't know, the attack, the ranged attack, and the spell, the pachow. And it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it to be able to fight this boss. It's not overly difficult. Did anybody ever lose to this boss ever? Really? I mean, maybe in the pantheons with all the bindings, but other than that, I mean, he is the I got nothing. You stumped me. Like I'm trying to tap dance to the 2 minutes, and we are there. Okay, end it. Gosh darn it, I don't know.
You heard it here first, folks. Soul Warrior, better than Pure Vessel and Radiance.
And
apparently.
Gosh, you stumped me.
This is a fun.
Yeah, you stumped me. That's the first one too. That's impressive. I'm not gonna lie. Ooh. Okay.
I didn't even mean for that to be as stumping as it was.
But it was. Oh man, but I want to know why No Eyes is A tier.
No Eyes is A tier.
Yeah, and Tamer, go.
All right, so No Eyes being an A tier boss, just straight off the bat, who even puts a grave in this location? You have to have some courage to even think to put a grave in such an inconvenient location. She obviously doesn't want to be disturbed. You are the game makes it clear that you are in fact the one encroaching on her, and that this boss fight is very optional. You are the one that decides to take it. And so, right off the bat, the game kind of establishes that she doesn't want to be bothered. She can't be bothered with your Hollow Knight antics, like whatever you're frolicking about, whatever charms you're collecting. She doesn't want a part of it. But you decide to engage anyway. And she fights you with no eyes. She fights you with no eyes. She fights you with no... Are you listening? Listen to how awesome that is. It's like how in tune do you have to be with the rest of your senses to be like, oh, I'm just completely blind in both eyes. Not even blind. She has no eyes. That's worse than being blind. She has no eyes. She can't even get her eyes repaired because she doesn't have any eyes to repair. And she fights you. And she's actually kind of hard for some reason. I don't get how that's even possible. Her ghost friends are doing all the work. They don't even know what they're doing. They're just flying around in this random trajectory that if they don't know where the trajectory is going to take them, then you don't know either. And that sort of leads to you taking some unnecessary hits, which is kind of annoying, but it's really weird having a boss who's completely lost one of her senses be this big of an annoyance. And it's definitely something unexpected. It kind of makes you appreciate just how she's able to fight with such a handicap, And I think it's honorable. I think she definitely deserves the A tier place. One of the best bosses in the game.
How does she do? No eyes. She can't. She's got no eyes.
That's worse than blind. She can't even get LASIK.
Oh my gosh! I thought you were gonna say it like 3 or 4 more times. I'm like, oh my god!
Just ride it to the 2-minute mark. That's totally something I would do.
Oh my gosh! All right, what do you got?
All right. It's me. All right.
Yeah.
Let's actually do Soul Master. Soul Master.
Which one?
Of course, S for soul. You gotta have some alliteration in there, some trademark Rusty alliteration. Soul Master S.
Soul Master.
Go.
Soul Master, not to be confused with the Soul Tyrant, which I almost just did right now, is one of those bosses that is challenging, extremely challenging, because for most people, it's one of those bosses that is actually blocking one of the main things that you need to progress your game, especially if you don't feel like grinding out the Geo to get the Lantern. You have to defeat the Soul Master to be able to make your way into Crystal Peak. It's the only other way to get in there, and so you're either fighting tick-ticks for hours on end to be able to get 2 and 3 Geo at a time to get to 1800 100 that you need for the lantern to buy from Sly. You're like why does he even want the geo to begin with? I mean, what's he gonna do with it? There's nobody to sell to. It's not like there's an economy or anything like that. It's ridiculous. Like by the end of the game, you could give him thousands of geo, like, multiple thousands more, but no, you can't pay him later. You got to pay him now for a thing that he doesn't even need. What is his point? And then you get back to the Soul Master, who is this difficult boss. The first time you fight him, you probably haven't even found a nail upgrade at this point, and the bench is so far away that every single time you go to fight him, very similar to B-Boy, you have to think about every mistake that you made, and you have to fight all the not spell twisters, but the soul guys who are launching these balls at you and whatever else. So you're having to dodge all of these projectiles just to get back to the boss, hoping that you have enough masks. But they do give you the soul just before you get into the fight, which is really kind of them being Team Cherry. And then the fight is good. It's good. It's one of those ones where you are gonna have a good time with it, and you get a really, really powerful upgrade from it. Boom. I'll take it.
I'm gonna say I actually do appreciate you being consistent, because you actually had a thing in the last video where you were like, oh, projectile attacks are some of the most annoying things in the game. And that really checks out with this fight, I think.
Oh, definitely. Honestly, yeah. It's the projectiles kind of got me good in this game.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got us all.
Let's see.
It's all you, my guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of some projectiles that you might like the obbles in A tier.
The obbles in A tier. All right.
The wobbles.
All right.
And
let's do it.
Go.
Oblobbles in A tier. Well, start off, they're one of the simply designed bosses in the game. It's really hard not to appreciate the minimalist approach they went with there. It looks like two floating spheres. And if that's what it looks like, that's because they are indeed two giant floating spheres. Not intimidating in any way, or at least so you don't think. And you find these guys in the Coliseum, and you're just like, these guys probably aren't that intimidating.
Or girls. Like, have we checked that out yet? Is that in the wiki? Are we offending somebody?
Type in the comments and correct us if you think we're sort of. There are two of them. That's what matters. Maybe it's a guy and a girl.
Oh, see.
Oh, so you got to be careful. We don't want to offend anyone here.
Oh yeah,
got to be inclusive. And maybe that's why, and this is why I think it's A tier. The ultimate reason is why you're given two of them to fight, and when you kill one, the other one gets just massively enraged in this cinematic display of emotion. the level of voice acting, and that he could win, and whoever voice acted this part, he could win an Emmy for this performance. It's so convincing. You can just feel the rage burning through the screen and just like punching you in the face. You feel so awful for what you did. Like, you could have killed this guy's wife. You don't know, or this girl's husband, or this girl's wife, or this guy. Whatever. You pick the roles, all right?
Yep. Be inclusive. That's right.
You choose what happens. You choose what the roles are. You killed someone. You killed a person who was very close to this other oblobble. And just like the rage you feel when he fights you, everything is faster, everything is like, it actually kind of gets hard. And I think like just that raw emotion really sets the tone for what the game is and how dark and depressing just everything is in Hollow Nest. It's all decrepit and it sucks, and A tier, yeah.
All right. Ooh, wait. You didn't do your rusty alliteration. A for what?
A for awesome. Yep, that's all I got.
All right, this one's on you. What you got?
This one is on me. Okay, well, speaking of Coliseum fights, we'll go ahead and put the God Tamer at D, actually.
Oh,
put the God Tamer at D.
All right, and timer go. All right,
nuts on this one.
It's easy reason why God Tamer is D. You don't get to the God Tamer to the very end of the entire Coliseum. I literally had to have every upgrade in the game to be able to beat this. I actually, yeah, Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. I'm like, do I want to launch into a story? I've got a minute and a half left to explain why I hate this boss fight so much. And the main reason is because it's at the end of the Colosseum of Fools fight, where not only do you have to like know every single fight as it's coming up, so you know when you can heal and when you can grab some soul and best prepare yourself, but then you have to go through the entire area where there is no platform. You got the spikes at the bottom and you're trying to like jump, down attack, jump down, and like it is immensely difficult. And if you didn't have double jump by the time you got here, there's no way you're doing this fight. It is absolutely like, if anybody did this without the Mothwing, the double jump, you're lying to yourself. No, you didn't do it. I don't believe you. Get out of here. No. There might be some people who did it without every upgrade. Maybe but that it is not easy. That would be a truly great feat. I wouldn't suggest anybody even attempt it. And then once you get to the fight, you can actually beat the God Tamer, the ant that's on top, and that's not even the end of the fight. You only have to beat one of the two. You just have to know which one you need to beat, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. Like, wait, how come only one of them's the actual boss and the other one is the Tamer? Like, why can't that thing fight you? Like, that'd be like if you had a lion tamer, and if you defeat the lion, now the Tamer is just gonna be like, yeah, you beat me, I lose. like what is this? That doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. Yeah, the fight itself is ridiculous. The main boss can't even jump. You just down pogo and it's over. It's ridiculous.
D for doesn't make any sense.
D for doesn't.
That's what's up.
It doesn't make any sense.
It don't make no sense. It don't add up.
All right, what do I got for you? Let's see. Let's cut these cords. Let's cut these cords. Let's put the Hornet C tier.
Which one?
Oh, sorry, the original first Hornet fight, C tier.
The original first Hornet fight, C tier. All right.
And go.
All right, let's go.
Tier.
Well, part of the huge reason why this fight is so average is because you have no idea who this even is. You know, like you first encounter her in the green path, which is probably the second area you are going to discover in the game, period. Immediately after you defeat the False Knight and worm your way in there, you start exploring around the green path, and you obviously learn the story as you go, but you don't exactly know why this red hooded figure is either following you or running away from you. It's hard to say. The game like makes it feel like you're the one that's actually chasing her, even though you keep running into her by complete accident. It's like, I don't know how that works. I think it's just like, I think it is very rude of Hornet to assume that I am following her.
There's nowhere else to go.
We might just be I'm just trying to get to the end of the level, my guy. It's like, there's nowhere else. We are just by happenstance. We are just going to the same place. There's nothing rude about that. But she doesn't want any of that business. She's not taking any lip because she's Hornet. She's awesome. And she just decides to start a boss fight with you for no reason. And on top of being one of the... I'm not going to say it's one of the easier boss fights just because you're in green path at this point. Your only other boss fight could be False Knight at this point, so you're not really accustomed to how Hollow Knight's combat works yet. But I think it teaches you just enough. It's parts of the fight are really engaging and really boring at the same time. You know?
Oh, boring,
huh? Yeah, it's like it's really engaging simply because, oh, this is the second boss I've faced. And then you start getting into stuff like God Tamer, Mantis Lords, like you start getting a taste for what Hollow Knight has to throw at you. And then you face Hornet back in the Pantheon and you're just like, guys, why did I ever think this fight was fun? You know? It's average. It's perfectly average, just like everything. Just like the Radiance, just like Pure Vessel for some reason. Hornet is Pure Vessel confirmed.
It's funny. On my tutorial for the Hornet fight, there's so many people who are just like, the spike in difficulty is ridiculous. So I'm sitting here, I'm cracking up because I've seen so many of those comments.
I just got in trouble.
That's funny. Oh man, I can't wait to see. Yeah, so the comments, did you think Hornet was easy the first time you fought it, or was that a spike in difficulty?
Ooh. It was definitely a spike for me. I don't know about a huge spike.
It probably took me like 5 to 7 tries.
Yeah,
I don't think it was 10, but it was a handful of tries for me to do it my first time.
Yeah, it wasn't a slope You know,
Yeah.
it didn't just like it was a little hill of difficulty.
Yeah, especially because most of the other fights that could even be remotely tough, like not the Moss skin, the Moss tribe guys, the guys with the sword
The
and
Moss
shield,
Knights or something.
Moss Knights, yeah, the ones that are like one floor above, where you can fight two of them at the same time, like that.
I don't know if that's what they're called.
I don't know, close enough. I think that's actually right. Well, we could fight two of them at the same time, and they're guarding the Geo right there. Like that's a
Oh, I hated that.
Yeah, when they're on either side of you, like that puts you in a tough spot, but you can also skip it.
Okay, well, you did Hornet Protector, so I think it's only fitting that I do the follow-up of Hornet Sentinel, the boss fight in Kingdom's Edge. And you know what? I think this one's C tier too. This one is straight. Everything about Hornet is just C tier.
Okay,
straight up.
And
all right,
timer go.
Bam.
Okay, so this fight is clearly C tier for several reasons. One, the save point before this fight is hidden. Like it's kind of ridiculous. I can't tell you how many times you can fight this boss and not even realize that there's a bench hidden above, even if there is a sign that kind of points you in that direction. But there are people who miss it, not me. I would never miss that bench. And so the fight itself actually has so much fog and graphical things going on with it that it makes anybody who has an average PC, it makes it so it's not accessible to a lot of different players, to where the game is actually glitching and stuttering like crazy. And this is one of the only fights that actually has this type of lag because of the graphical thing that's going on. If your computer can't handle it, it literally you just can't see Hornet. She's moving too fast. There's too much going on. Or two, your computer's just stuttering through the entire thing and you've got lag, and that's not fun. It makes it for a not fun fight. This is also one of the fights that actually has a level of randomness with the spikes that are coming through. Those spikes kind of go in a random location, and sometimes they spawn directly on you. You have no recourse. You have nothing you can do to deflect those spikes. I mean, obviously you have to get rid of those first, like that's part of the boss fight. But if they spawn on top of you, or you're in the middle of your jump animation and they spawn just above you, you have no recourse. You have nothing you can do. And so part of this boss fight is just BS because of that. There's just it can be fun, but if you also get to the fight and you're not ready for it, it's overly difficult and it's blocking way too much of the game. You cannot progress without doing this fight, and it can be kind of difficult. C tier.
Right on the nose. That's what's up.
Got him, coach. Who? What do you like so much? You love this boss. It's so good.
I already know this is gonna be.
It is. Oh, why am I forgetting
doing?
his name? I always pronounce it wrong. Tell me, why is it that you like the Brooding Mawlek so much? And am I saying that wrong? I've always said Mawlek.
The Mawlek.
M-A-W? Is it Mawlek?
I've always said Mawlek.
Mawlek.
Just because like M-A-W is like the word maw is like an actual yeah. But it could be Mawlek.
No, it can't. I don't know how to read.
That was an interesting conclusion.
yeah, that's how that works. You should see my live streams where I try to read people's names, especially when they come from all over the world, and I'm like, I can't read names because I don't know where you're from, and then that changes the way something's pronounced, and then I'm the a-hole. And I'm sorry, I can't read your name, but you have to describe to me why Brooding Mawlek is S tier, and go.
S tier Brooding Mawlek. Okay, well, first of all, this is, if you choose to be Brooding Mawlek or Mawlek, depending on what type of person you are. This boss can be this boss can be the very first boss that you fight in the game, period. And there's a lot of good points for this boss, and this is why I think Brooding Mawlek might secretly be one of the best bosses in the game, because there's really no way you can even lose. Because even if you do lose to this fight, which you probably will if you're discovering him super early on, because he's hidden by a lot of tough platforming sections that you aren't accustomed to at the beginning of the game. And if you get to him, you're probably going to lose a couple times, probably even several times. But it's sort of like that. I might be getting myself in trouble here. But it's kind of like in Dark Souls, cross my heart, where it's kind of that whole phenomenon where you're repeatedly like bashing your head against, like, you're feeling the wall give a little bit each time you try. And it really is that sensation with Brooding Malik, because you know you can beat him. His attack patterns are just simple enough to get down. Is like you can, like, even without the dash, like when he does the overhead arc with the projectiles, like you can still pogo on him to get to the other side of him. It's still possible without any upgrades, and the game wants to make sure you know that. And if you do that, if you do actually become victorious above the Brooding Malik this early on in the game, first of all, that's just bragging rights, just straight up. That's awesome. Good on you. Good for you. Good for you on learning the game's mechanics that quickly and never giving up and learning the value of perseverance. But you also get a free mass shard additionally, like in addition to that. So not only does it have a great reward for a great fight, but it teaches you some life lessons as well, such as never give up, always persevere. The Brooding Malik is your therapist.
Never give up. Never surrender.
Teaching you about life and stuff. Just what a great boss.
What a great
boss.
Oh my gosh. I'd be curious. If you're listening to this right now, how many of you actually had this be the first boss that you either fought, period, or two, have you actually beat it as that was the first boss you ever fought in this game? I'd be very surprised if you made it there without without knowing that was a thing.
You want to know who did beat it first try? Not first try, God no. But Ross, the guy in my playthrough, he was actually like, he discovered the Malik by complete accident, and he just thought it was a mandatory boss. And he was like, wow, this game is really hard. And he just thought it was something he had to get past. So he just, like I said, he just never gave up. He persevered, and Brooding Malik became the first boss that he defeated in Hollow Knight.
Oh, wow.
By complete accident.
That is like, I'm surprised that after doing that, he wasn't just like, F this game.
I think a lot of people would be in that boat.
Yeah.
Okay, so we ranked the Mantis Lords and the Sisters of Battle in the first episode.
That's correct.
And we kept bringing up Traitor Lord, and that was a pretty big point of argument, justifying both the Mantis Lords and the Sisters of Battle. But they're both in the D tier, as you can see, and that just doesn't make any sense, because the Traitor Lord is easily an A tier boss.
Oof.
Just by himself, and I would like you to educate me on why.
All right, so first off, the Traitor Lord is easily as difficult as either of the sister fights, purely because that doesn't make any sense. I'm just saying easily it's as difficult as easy as either of those two fights. I mean, you can't do it until you get the Shade Cloak, so you already have to get a certain distance into the game to get there. He's as difficult by himself as the three of the other sisters combined. Like, he has gotten all of this power from the infection, making him crazy, kind of hulking out, doing his own thing, just like going Super Saiyan, if you will. And he does it by himself. Like, he was probably on the same level of the sisters, but now by himself, he's his own boss. He's risen in the ranks and kind of doing his own thing, and like, that is difficult. He has come far in this world, and has done so much more than any of his sisters could ever could do, and he did it as an outcast, as somebody who was shunned and kicked out of the kingdom where he belongs. There was, who knows how much help there was, maybe they reached out a little bit, but they effectively kicked him out, cut him off, did not help him. Even after he got infected, they're like, nah fam, you're done, we're not gonna figure out how to help you out. And he now has his own kingdom with his own bugs that are guarding, and he's protecting a big part of the game. Like, you have to beat him to be able to get to the end game stuff, and so it's way more of an important fight than the sisters, both fights, and thus the A tier. I think that there's just a lot going on with the fight, and not only with the lore, but how difficult it is, and it's actually a fun fight. It's not overly difficult once you learn it. It's actually pretty fun. Boom. I'll take it.
Traitor Lord is Zuko from Avatar, confirmed.
Zuko!
Exiled exiled and then came back 10 times the man he was.
Yeah, I mean, some people they take the lemons and they make lemonade.
Oh no! What are you setting up?
Oh shoot! I forgot it's my turn. Who takes lemons and makes?
Oh, I thought that was like a setup to something.
Yeah, well now it is.
I mean,
now I gotta figure out who takes lemons.
This boss is lemons.
This boss is
L tier.
Why do you like Markov so much in the A tier?
I'll tell you why I like Markov so much, man. Because Markov is, first of all, it's a bit of a... I'm going to explain this the best I can. He is a tutorial boss in the sense that once you get the Shade Cloak, he will likely be the first boss that you want to fight because he's hidden by that shadow barrier thing. And when you first came into the Kingdom's Edge, you're like, oh, what's that? And then you get the Shade Cloak from the Abyss. And that's probably going to be the barrier that's like the one that's the most fresh in your head. So I totally want to go back to that one. I totally want to see what that's about.
Tutorial boss, okay.
And then you find, I think Markov is a guide on how to use Shade Cloak effectively. That's my running theory, because he not only does he have the sort of pins and needles attack that are by themselves, they're easy enough to dodge, they don't really disrupt too much. Like you could just take 2 steps forward and dodge each one of them individually. It's that easy. But you also have to worry about Markov, his body himself, and the shield, the dream shield that he's rotating, which by themselves, they are extremely simple mechanics. Like they don't sound hard to dodge. They're just a bunch of patterns just going in a specific order. But when combined, it suddenly becomes extremely, surprisingly difficult in a way. And I think the whole reason why the game does that is because Hollow Knight wants to train you to use Shade Cloak to dash through through certain items. It wants to train you to use the iframes that the dash gives you to use it for you and use it in combat to make you fight better. And I think no other boss in the game teaches you that well, other than Markov. It's fun. It's kind of, if anything, it's repetitive, but I don't even mind, because it's so because he's so fun. God, he's so fun. Markov is so fun. He's so fun to fight. God, Markov is so fun. What a guy. What a guy.
A for always so much fun.
A for, my God, this was fun.
Oh my gosh. Oh, it's so good. I'm like, oh, it teaches you, huh? Okay. That fight was literally it's like trying to rub your tummy and pat your head at the same time. You got things that are going in circles and things that are going in straight lines at the same time, and it's like, gosh. And so yeah, you got that circle dream shield and the thing. F that fight. Oh my gosh, that fight.
Okay, we each got 1 shot, so let's pick a real winner here. I gotta pick one that I just think is gonna be comedy gold,
Oh no.
This is one of my favorite bosses in the game, but I want to hear why it's one of yours as well. And I've went down in history as describing this fight as long and hard. Long and hard and enduring, and it's an endurance run.
I know about long and hard.
How I described it. Do you? Well, let's see you explain the long and hard, tumultuous boss fight of the Hollow Knight himself, the main dude before the Radiance, and why he is S tier, platinum, grade A, grade S, bona fide. Sheer awesomeness in physical form.
Yeah, Tamer, go. There we go. So the Hollow Knight himself is absolutely amazing because it is one of those fights where you get the feels the entire time. As soon as you come across the Hollow Knight, you see that he's in chains. And for some reason his nail is just left there on the ground, and I've always wondered why couldn't you just smack his nail out of the way before the fight, and then he'd be weaponless? But that's beside the point. You unlock him, that you're going in there to do something BA. He's the only boss that's completely sealed, locked up, and you had the fight so hard just to get here. I mean, you are easily 20, 30, 40 hours plus into the game before you get here. You've done so much. You've come so far just to get to this boss who is just oozing this infectious goo, and like he's coming at you fast too. I mean, he is both difficult and he's deserving of being an end game boss, because he's throwing those ridiculous projectiles when he's got that lob shot that he's got going on, but then he's also like dashing towards you and doing all kinds of stuff, and it's a fun fight. It's one of those ones where it is fair, it is fun to do, but then like midway through you get the feels because he starts like attacking himself because he knows that he is what's wrong with the world, essentially, of Hollow Knight, of Hollow Nest, excuse me. And so the little knight's trying to clean things up, and the knight is there like fighting himself, and it just kind of builds the lore, and you hear the music just turn from being like this boss fight to being like so somber and like down, and you're like you just really feel that fight, and it's giving you so much lore in the middle of the fight as it's going until the very end where you clear the infection. It's a good one. It's a good one.
It hits. The soundtrack hits different for that fight, that's for sure. S for sad.
S for sad. S for sound.
S for sad boy.
Ooh, so now we're left with only so many.
I have a strong suspicion of what you're gonna do. I'm not gonna say it, but
you can suspicious all you want, but you can suspicion the heck out of this, but I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So good luck. I feel like Zote right now. I'm just kind of I don't know. I'm stumbling all over myself. I want to know why Flying Nosk is in B tier. Yeah, did you see that one coming? Don't think so.
Flying Nosk, I definitely didn't see this one coming. All right,
timer go.
Well, Flying Nosk is in B tier, and guys, let me tell you, you are not gonna believe this one.
Oh
because...
my gosh.
No, I'm not gonna do 2 minutes of that. That's gonna kill me. So Flying Nosk is in B tier just because Vengefly King is in A tier. We've already seen that. We did that in the last video, I think. And as we all know, anyone who's fought Wing Nosk is basically just a Vengefly King ripoff with a few souped up moves, like a little extra projectile attacks. And I feel like it's an attempt to try to make Vengefly King a little better, a little more souped up, a little more engaging, you know. But I think in their attempt to make a boss fight that was more engaging, I think they just made a fight that was more annoying than the Vengefly King, you know? Because now you have all these orange blobs to worry about. It also builds it kind of builds the universe a little, but it builds it in a way that doesn't really make sense. Like now there are 2 Nosks. So Nosk wasn't just this one-off sort of nightmare creature, this rare encounter. Is there an entire species of these things? Do they have a kingdom? Why does one have the appearance of the knight and the other one has the appearance of Hornet? So one of these guys have been following Hornet around too. That's kind of creepy.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. Actually, that's kind of...
Is there an entire race of these guys? Is this like its own species? Are they bugs at all? Like, are they obviously carriers of the infection because their design, they have this orange glob on them. And I just feel like it poses more questions than it answers, you know? The answer is, oh, there's another Nosk.
I was going to say, you've got a lot of questions.
So why does this one have wings? Why does this one have wings? Oh my god!
Why do bees live in graveyards?
Let's put Nosk. Let's give Nosk wings. That's great. What a great. Let's give one of the most annoying bosses. Just give Galleon a 4th scythe. Why don't you? Oh my god.
So we got 16 left. So
we are nearing the end.
So that means we're gonna have to do one more episode because we can't just keep going, and we can't just end it here and just like be done. We're gonna have to do a whole other episode.
We still got some good ones in here too. We still got some stumpers. We still haven't touched Grim yet. Haven't touched Grim. Haven't touched Sly. I think he's gonna be a kind of a dark horse candidate in the next episode.
Yeah.
There's still a lot of good ones here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have fun. Honestly, this is good, guys. If you, I don't know how you could not know Rusty, but if you don't know him, I'll make sure to leave a link down below. And just so you know, he's kind of not really family friendly. So if you're not okay with like cursing and stuff like that, don't go check him out, because
I do in
you're
fact
gonna get in
say
trouble.
the F-bomb a whole lot.
He says bad words.
I say very, very bad things that you should not say. If you do know my channel already, I'm so sorry for the grave mistakes and misfortunes that led you to my channel. And I would like to publicly apologize for the severe lack of humor. That is my life.
I like
that became really depressing.
Yeah, I just, whoa, where's this going? All right. Hey, thank you guys so much for stopping by. My name is Rusty. Wait, how did that?
No, it isn't.
No, it's not.
Is it?
My name is Relyea.
Who are you?
Wait, what if my first name was Rusty?
What if my name was Relyea?
Oh my gosh. Did that just happen?
Did we just have an identity crisis in the middle of this video? Okay, we need to stop.
All right. Thank you guys.
Thanks
Talk to
again,
you
man,
later.
for having me. It's been fun.
All right. Bye.